Southern Sights and Sounds explores the rich cultural and musical heritage of the Deep South. To a soundtrack of jazz, blues, country and rock and roll, we visit Nashville, Memphis and New Orleans, among a host of other sights and sounds.
We love Titan Travel. Y'all just come on down here, make yourselves at home. We'll give you a good time.
We started off in Atlanta, which I thought was a beautiful, green and clean city.
Atlanta is a large cosmopolitan city, but we really have the heart of a small town. We went through what's often called the Beverly Hills of the South, where there are beautiful mansions.
Atlanta surprised me how beautiful it was, and some of the properties there were beyond belief.
And then we've come back into the city and had a stroll through Centennial Olympic Park, really the crown jewel left to Atlanta from the Olympic Games.
I've been to the mountaintop.
The Martin Luther King Center for Nonviolent Social Change.
And I've seen the promised land.
The mural depicted a lot of what he'd done and the mixture of people who joined in his marches, which was very good indeed, because you don't tend to hear a lot about that.
Any man, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
It was just stunning and amazing to think about what that man has done.
Welcome, Titans, to Chattanooga, Tennessee, at home of the choo-choo.
I just love saying the word Chattanooga.
And then we went to the top of the Incline Railway, which is absolutely spectacular.
Quite a feat of engineering when you think how long ago that was done.
Boy, was it steep. And the views from the top were amazing. Again, another photographic opportunity.
The Jack Daniel's Distillery, the oldest registered distillery in the United States. Come on, take a tour with us. The history of Jack Daniel's is unique. We have a man that left home when he was 6 years old and starts making whiskey when he was 8 years old. And he learns from a Lutheran minister to make whiskey, and he drips it through charcoal mellowing, which is a sugar maple charcoal, drip by drip. And this is what makes us uniquely different than a bourbon. And you get to see that whole experience when you come here to Jack Daniel's.
My son and daughter both love Jack Daniel's. I'm not a fan myself, but I can go back home and give them a bottle of Jack Daniel's and tell them exactly how it's made, which is brilliant.
We got to smell the actual Jack Daniel's. I think it was 140% proof that came out of the vats at the time that we smelt them. Cleared all our sinuses anyway.
Actually, that was gorgeous. And I am thinking about maybe trying Jack Daniel's again.
You are at Bellevue Plantation, the home of the Hardings and Jacksons in between the years 1807 and 1906. We offer that step back to a time period that was centered around thoroughbred racing and how family made their fortune in it and ultimately also fell away once that sport kind of died out throughout the collective consciousness of the United States.
RCA Studio B, one of the most famous studios throughout the world. Roughly about 45,000 songs recorded here. Of course, Elvis Presley, Dolly Parton, Porter Wagner, the Everly Brothers, Waylon Jennings, Roy Orbison, Dottie West. They all loved to come here. They just knew when they got to Studio B, it was going to be a class act recording.
Going to Studio B and just being there in its original state was fantastic.
The greatest part about the job for me as a tour guide is to look into the faces of people. They go back to their childhood. They'll talk about their prom, they'll talk about who they went on a date with, and each song clicks a different memory. And then a lot of times they get emotional and they'll just cry.
I didn't think it would affect me the way that it did affect me. It was just the thought of Elvis walking through the door, and the feelings just was so overwhelming. It was, couldn't describe it, what it actually felt like.
It brings back very happy memories of a youth long gone. Very long gone.
It's not just a tour. You know, it's not some little thing you just come in and, oh, it's great, and you go. I mean, this touches people's hearts. Oh, it's beautiful. We got any Elvis fans with us? I figured maybe one or two you might like Elvis.
They put on Are You Lonesome Tonight by Elvis.
They dimmed the lights. Two people got up, George and Caroline, and did a little dance.
I'm widowed, so it was a song that I used to dance to with my husband. And then there's George, who I know is widowed. And it was just a moment, and I needed to dance. I did whisper to him, you better not kiss me, because the lights might come back on.
Little things make the trip, and George and Caroline in the RCA studio was just a special moment.
The Hall of Fame has a collection of cars, musical instruments, clothes. What I find interesting is the songs that's written on yellow legal pads with the words scratched out where those writers have written hit songs known around the world. And there's so much to see for everybody, whether you're really into music or you're just kind of passing through. Anybody that would come to Nashville would be going to the Grand Ole Opry, the mother church of country music. In 90 years, we've never missed a show.
I was standing by my window.
The Grand Ole Opry was just absolutely gorgeous, such a beautiful venue.
And I've been away way too long.
It's been on my bucket list, as they say, for years, and that exceeded all expectations. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I went home that night really on a high.
We're on the Grand Ole Opry tonight.
Coming back home.
Nothing like it is still around today, like the Grand Ole Opry.
We are at the birthplace of Elvis Presley in Tupelo, Mississippi. Elvis's father, Vernon, built this house in 1934. He opted out on no electricity just for the fact he could not afford the monthly payments. So the house was built with no electric and no plumbing. This house is 15 by 30, which equivalents to about 450 square feet. Elvis became a very strong family man, and I do believe that a lot of that stemmed from the environment that they were raised in.
Beale Street. Yeah. I can't wait to go back tonight.
In March of 1957, Elvis was 22 years old. He was already an international star when he decided to purchase the home. This home sits on 13.8 acres of land. Elvis purchased the home for $102.5 thousand.
The highlight really was Graceland's and my trip. I've always wanted to meet Elvis anyway, and fortunately he came out and said hello to me.
Not being an Elvis fan, I wasn't really prepared for how emotional I'd be. I got a few preconceived ideas of how Graceland was. Blew them out of the water.
I'm much more into Elvis now I've been. I found the place very respectful and not brash as I thought it was going to be. Just beautiful.
Things that Elvis did that none of us knew about at the time. His generosity, the way he supported people, and the music that they played and everything that was in the house itself made you feel as though you connected with him. I'm so glad I went there.
Orleans is a city that's famous for its parties and then being fun-loving. It's the joie de vivre, the joy of living that we celebrate here. It's a walkable city, the French Quarter. The French Quarter is the heart of the city. It's the original city. It's about 100 square blocks. It's a towering 10 feet above sea level. So bring your oxygen mask when you visit. You have a lot of artists who have their paintings on the fences and in chairs on the side. You will find a lot of artwork in this town.
To walk down Bourbon Street was an experience and a half. All the different characters.
All the toys and the people and all the shops and skulls and beads and you name it was there.
Round every corner there was jazz, all different sorts, and that's right down my street really.
The trip on the swamps with the alligators, and just loved watching the small creatures on the side trying to dive for their marshmallows.
Some of the swamps are in here, hundreds of years old. They're seeing it as it was, a natural environment, natural setting. The gators on the logs, the snakes, the birds in the trees, the critters running around. And we just cruise along quietly, taking a look around to see what's out there. The one I showed y'all today that we're gonna use him through the rest of the year. Next year about this time, he's gonna go back in the wild, back into the bayou. Even a baby gator out of the egg, even at this point, it could bite and draw blood. You think his teeth are like little needles, and they wouldn't let go. It would hang like that from there.
When we came up to the boat itself, the excitement started, and then you went on to have a meal, which was very good, and then we had the dancing afterwards, which was spontaneous because everybody just enjoyed themselves. And you know the English, we don't do spontaneity, do we? Oh yes, we do. And I think it's New Orleans that brings that out in people because it's such a different place. You don't feel self-conscious, you don't feel edgy, you just let yourself go. And it's an experience that you can't get anywhere else.
Oh my gosh, wonderful happy evening. Plenty of laughs, plenty of dancing from the girls, and again I was able to participate.
It was a really good band, and you don't always expect good bands on cruise boats, if you like. And the weather was fantastic, beautiful sunset. I've got the picture to prove it.
I've been on lots and lots of holidays, but I've never found I've been able to get on so well with people immediately.
As a single traveller, Titan is a good thing for me to come on because people are so friendly when you're on your own, and a lot of ladies come, so they'll befriend you and you befriend them, but just everybody is so friendly, and we're having such a great laugh. I'm really enjoying the people.
I've experienced music, I've experienced places of culture, places of interest. I've learnt so much. You can't sit in the UK and look through books and get the same experience as you can when you come out on a tour like this. And you're gelling with other people, it's a social experience. I think it's wonderful.